Okay, imagine a city bigger than New York that just pops up in the middle of the desert. It's thriving for a few weeks and then poof, it vanishes, almost without a trace. Now, this isn't science fiction. These are real places called ephemeral cities, massive urban centers built to exist for just a fleeting moment. In this explainer, we're going to dive into how these incredible pop-up cities are even possible.
I mean, it sounds completely impossible, right? A whole metropolis designed from the ground up to be temporary and housing a population that would make it one of the largest countries in the world. But this isn't some what if scenario. It actually happens. Get this, 120 million. That's the estimated number of people who show up for the Kumbh Mela festival in India. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire population of Germany and Spain combined. So the question is just, how? How do you even begin to build a city for that many people, knowing the whole thing is going to be gone in a few weeks? And it's not just happening in India. Take a look at this. This is the tent city of Mena in Mecca. Every single year, millions of pilgrims live right here for 5 days during the Hajj. It's an absolute miracle of logistics. A city that appears, serves its purpose perfectly, and then disappears. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we're going to challenge our whole obsession with permanence. Then we'll look at the actual blueprints that make these cities work. After that, we'll uncover the hidden infrastructure that keeps them running. And finally, we'll ask the big question. What can our so-called permanent cities learn from these amazing fleeting worlds? Okay, so to even get your head around building a city that disappears, you have to fundamentally change how you think about cities in the first place. You've got to let go of this idea that everything we build is meant to last forever. Now, this quote right here is really the key. It's this core idea from architectural theory that says, hey, nothing is truly permanent. A skyscraper and a tent, they're really just at different points on the exact same timeline of decay and change. And once you accept that, building something temporary doesn't seem so strange anymore. Think about it, right? For centuries, Western architecture has been absolutely obsessed with monumentality. The pyramids, the great cathedrals, they were all built to defy time, to last forever. But a lot of Eastern philosophies do the opposite. They embrace fragility and impermanence, using materials like wood and paper that are actually designed to be replaced. And that embrace of the temporary, that's the philosophical key that unlocks the ability to build a city that can just pack up and leave. So how does that big idea translate into a city plan that actually works for millions of people? Let's take a look at the blueprints.
Okay, check this out. This is the layout for Burning Man's Black Rock City, and it is genius. It's a huge radial design. So instead of street names, you navigate using a clock face. Your address might be something like 430 in genuflect. It's this rigid, super logical system that brings order to the absolute chaos of the open desert. And it makes it really easy for 80,000 people to find their way around.
But, there's more than one way to do it. The Kumbh Mela, on the other hand, uses a flexible grid system. And that's because it's built on a riverbed that literally changes every single year, so the plan has to be adaptable. The grid is designed to bend and shift with the landscape, and it creates a city that feels both organic and incredibly organized at the same time. So whether it's the super rigid clock face of Burning Man or the flexible grid of the Kumbh Mela, you start to see this shared DNA. They all have these central gathering points, civic plazas for essential services like first aid, and designated sectors for different groups. And most important of all, they have an adaptable grid system at their core. All right, so we've looked at the philosophy and the blueprints, but what about the stuff you can't see? The plumbing, the power, the sanitation, the hidden engine that keeps millions of people safe and healthy. Because the real challenge isn't the tents or the streets, it's waste. When you have millions of people crammed into one place, even for just a little while, sanitation becomes the single most critical make or break logistical problem you have to solve. The solution lies in this brilliant piece of technology called DWATS. It stands for Decentralized Wastewater Treatment Systems, and these things are revolutionary. They're low-cost, low-maintenance sanitation solutions that are perfect for temporary settlements, and they're used everywhere from refugee camps to disaster zones.
It's actually a pretty clever three-step process. First, it removes all the solids. Then, it uses natural processes. You can think of it like a supercharged compost pile to break down all the nasty stuff. And finally, the water gets polished until it's clean enough to be safely returned to the environment.
So why are these systems such a total game changer for temporary cities? Well, for one, they can be built really fast with local materials. A lot of them work without any electricity, and they're incredibly affordable and easy to scale up.
They can even treat water so well that it can be used for local farming, basically turning a massive waste problem into a valuable resource. So it's obvious that these cities are just logistical marvels, but beyond the clever engineering and the brilliant planning, they actually offer a really profound lesson for all of us living in our supposedly permanent cities. These pop-up worlds aren't just spectacles, they're living, breathing laboratories. They teach us about hyper-efficient resource use, about how to rapidly deploy critical infrastructure, and most importantly, how to build with an exit strategy in mind, a truly sustainable approach that our permanent cities pretty much ignore. This quote from the source material, man, it really sticks with you. It forces us to ask a really tough question. Is our obsession with building things to last forever actually causing more permanent harm to our planet than a city that's designed, from day one, to leave no trace?
So, what can our world of concrete and pavement really learn from a city that's designed to just vanish? It's a question that's definitely worth thinking about the next time you look at the skyline of your own city.